Good evening, everybody. Manchester United 1, Tottenham Hotspur 1 at, I don't know what it's fucking called. Is it still White Hart Lane? Who gives a fuck? I think, like, subscribe, hit the bell. I think Solskjaer has changed the expectation of this football club, which is interesting because he was accused of lowering the expectation of this football club for a long time since he came in. Seen a lot of people well pissed off that we didn't manage to get 3 points today. And I mean, I really wanted 3 points today. I really wanted to come out of lockdown great. And I think if we'd have played them 3 months ago, there was no way we weren't getting 3 points. So totally understand the frustration of everyone not getting 3 points. I think we was the better team. But I think if this was Jose Mourinho's Manchester United, we'd have all been probably going, well, a point, it's not a bad result. Obviously, it's on the home team to get the win in these fixtures. So, I mean, and when you take into account Jose Mourinho's record at home, look, a draw's not terrible. Obviously, I prefer a win. Obviously, I wanted to see us get the win. But you can't fucking win them all, can you? And my worry coming into this is the one fucking guy who's able to engineer something to stop another team winning is Jose Mourinho, and that's what he did. He didn't take a draw. He just stopped us from winning. And that is the nightmare, isn't it? Is that Jose stopped United from winning. If we try and look at analysing the game, Rashford probably could have done a little bit better with that snapshot that he had. He got it on target, can't get too mad. But anywhere apart from where he puts it, he makes it 1-0 United. And I think United probably go on and pick up all 3 points. Just seen a comment then saying it was a typical Mourinho masterclass. I don't think it was a masterclass. A masterclass is winning. Yeah, I think masterclass is winning. And yeah, we beat them at home and we didn't lose away. I think that's not bad either. I think that's all right. And I think as I opened up the video, I think Ollie has changed the expectation of this football club, where now getting a draw away to your rivals is now no longer seen as a decent result. And I'm not going to tell you it's a decent result. I'm going to tell you I'm fucking disappointed with it. And I've just seen a comment there saying Lloris was bonkers. I actually think Lloris was the difference. Sadly, the goalkeepers made this game. But for Lloris, United probably could have had another one, maybe another 2. And but for De Gea, United might have come away with a clean sheet. We did quite well limiting Spurs. Spurs looked shit. Spurs had a real United under Mourinho vibe where you're like, all right, they're not getting completely tatered, and we didn't totally tater them. What I thought would happen in pre-match when I said I think we're going to have more of the ball here was accurate. We had 62% possession overall, 6 attempts on goal, and 5 of those on target. Tells you that we was pretty good with our shot selection. They had 7 on, they had 7 off target, 3 on target. We weren't bad. I think I've just got them stats wrong. Hang on. This fucking website's well shit. Let me go on StatZone. Actually get the actual stats up. So it's 12 shots, 6 on target for United, 10 shots, 3 on target for Tottenham. 3 big chances to 1 for United. 480 completed passes for United, 271 for Spurs. It was a decent performance from United. 2 players' performances that I want to bring out a little bit, because I saw someone earlier say Luke Shaw was good going forward, and obviously I disagree. I want to bring up Wan-Bissaka as a comparison. I thought Spurs really highlighted Luke Shaw as a weakness. That's probably down to Jose very much. And I thought they targeted him. Let me just throw a couple of these at you. In attack, 2 out of 2 take-ons. In defence, 4 out of 4 tackles. And 2 out of 5 crosses. Who was that? That was Wan-Bissaka. 4 out of 4 tackles, 2 out of 5 crosses, 2 out of 2 take-ons. Conversely, Luke Shaw, 3 out of 4 take-ons, no crosses, none out of 2 tackles. And I think that's the issue. I think in a game when we're expected to be defensive, I would probably favour Luke Shaw over someone like Brandon. But I don't think he offers us a damn fucking thing going forward. And he always comes inside and makes it narrow. You can't have an inverted fullback and an inverted winger. Everyone's just coming in on the inside. They have to be different. If you've got a centre forward or a wide forward that's going to cut inside when he gets the ball, which is what Marcus does, then your fullback has to overlap. Or you have to have an underlapping fullback and a forward, the way Manchester City use them where they go right wide. They have to do that. They can't do the same fucking thing. And that's why I don't think Luke Shaw is the perfect foil for what Marcus has been. And I think that's why Brandon looked really good when he was there. 0 out of 2 tackles. Questionable for the Spurs goal. Weird header. Just nothing. But I know Joe and Alex touched on it over on the Paddock review, but I think that there was onto something when it comes to... It was a litany of errors. It was an error possibly from Shaw. It was an error from Maguire. It was an error from Lindelof, and it was an error from De Gea. And I think De Gea's going to bear the brunt of that error. That's the nightmare of being a goalkeeper. You can do nothing all game and everyone's delighted. But that one chance when something comes to you, you have to get it right. There's no errors allowed for goalkeepers. And we're going to cover it in 5 things we learnt because it ain't looking good for De Gea. But his error has arguably cost United's opportunity to get 3 points today. Because as soon as they scored, the game changed. And the game didn't change back into United's favour until Pogba came on. And once Pogba came on, United looked fucking ridiculous. Delicious. How's that? But you didn't think he was getting that word tonight. Until the water break. Why are we having fucking water breaks at 10 o'clock at night when it's raining? The water breaks was introduced because now we're playing through the summer. It's a little bit warmer than usual. All the water break did was fuck United's momentum. Simple. And then I have a question mark about the drop ball as well. Why is it uncontested, for one? And 2, a drop ball when we don't get a foul. It wasn't a penalty. I've got no dramas with that. But why do we not now have possession 5 yards out from the goal where we had possession? Do you know what I mean? You have to restart where it came from. A drop ball when it's just giving it to their goalkeeper means he's just going to twat it and you start 70 yards down the fucking field. That's not right. That's not right, is it? Maybe the drop ball's not the right. Maybe a throw-in level with where it was. Even that's not right. I understand why you can't just restart play 5 yards out from goal, but drop ball and let them twat it 70 yards away is not right either. Another thing I want you to look at is which manager tried to win that game from the start and then with his substitutions. There was only Ollie trying to win that fucking game. I haven't really seen anyone really getting the fucking brunt of all of it, although the usual suspects are blaming Ollie, but I thought Ollie, if I was rating a manager performance today, everything he did made sense, roughly, until playing McTominay or Matic at centre-half briefly, but that was rectified as well. And we were doing well when that happened. Another thing that needs saying is Bruno Fernandes is by far and away Manchester United's best player. Brosh says it's John Moss, he's a twat. Yeah. Subs took too long. Look, I think the getting used to the substitutes is going to be something that we have to do. It's going to be a weird thing getting used to substitutes. 5 substitutes. And the right time to use all of them. I thought Mason Greenwood looked fucking mint when he came on. I would have started him. And you saw my predicted 11. I would have started him. But yeah, it feels like sour grapes. I don't mind criticising a ref when you've won, which I know is like, well, you should just criticise him whether you win or lose, right? But it feels like sour grapes when you criticise a ref after he was shit. I thought Pogba was fantastic when he came on. And one thing we'll be talking about in 5 things, which will be out tomorrow, is how Pogba and Bruno can definitely work together. Yeah, I think so. Adam says, felt the break in the second half really killed the momentum. Totally agree, mate. I'm going to head over to the Patreon group. This channel is supported by the absolute legends on Patreon, who do get a little bit of a cheeky top-up with extra content, and also the first word on what's going on with transfers. So if you'd like to support the channel, it's really helped us over lockdown. We didn't get quite enough where we'd actually be covered over lockdown, but it's really fucking helped us keep going. since losing all sponsorships. There is a link in the description if you'd like to come and get involved in a pretty wild community. Where do I think the game could have been won today? Should we have started Pogba? I think you cut your errors out, first and foremost. Again, I know Joe touched on it, but I thought the spacing of Lindelof from Maguire, once Maguire went and missed, which was the first mistake, well, actually it was the second mistake. If you go back and watch it, obviously you've got the 3 defenders that are still left in the line. Wan-Bissaka spots the problem and the danger a little bit earlier, like a half second earlier than Lindelof. And you see the gap between Wan-Bissaka and Lindelof closes. That's the correct thing. But what should have happened is both of them shuffle over at the same time. When there's a gap like that opens up in the defence, the centre-half has to close that door. And then the correct thing that happens after that is you're expecting the attack to put the ball where the sliding defence comes from. And that's where Wan-Bissaka comes and closes the door. That's why that effective spacing from them two is really important. This kind of happened in a totally different circumstance, but watch the distance that happens between the 2 centre-halves when was it Eric Bailly? Who was centre-half against Paris? Was it Bailly and Lindelof?
Bailly was right back, centre-back was Lindelof and
Go and watch the Paris goal from Mbappe at home and watch how he doesn't look behind him and the distances that happen in between them. The gap that was allowed to open up from Lindelof to Maguire needed to have been closed like 1 second earlier. Lindelof dives in with a failed attempt at a block. But if he'd have been 1 second closer, he might have actually effectively blocked that. So that was a mistake. And then De Gea, it basically hits him. He's just got to be better than that, hasn't he? Roy Keane probably went a little bit hard on it, but don't fucking phone Roy Keane up if you want a fucking balanced argument, eh? Is De Gea done? We'll probably get into that tomorrow. But the nightmare De Gea's got is that there is more than one alternative to him. Romero, probably talking all sorts of shit in Spanish on the way home. And obviously Dean Henderson, just putting in good performances, definitely puts pressure on him, which wouldn't have existed if Dean Henderson just wasn't a United player. So, yeah. Should Dan James be starting games? I think he's better as an impact sub. And he's certainly better if you can get in behind. Tottenham didn't let us get in behind. They had a fucking... They parked an armoured vehicle, didn't they? Very difficult to get in behind. Very structured. And that's the nightmare with Mourinho, is he can do something like that when he's got weeks to plan for it. He knows United are great on the counter. He knows United are pacey. He knows United are deadly in behind. Stopped it. Do I think the lack of energy we saw from teams, especially in the first half, is a direct result of that being a typical atmosphere? Sometimes the fans help the players find that extra gear. Possibly. Could also just have been match sharpness. How often did he play? Did he go 3 months without a game? They don't really go 3 months without a game, did they? And even some of the training that they've done has been like socially distanced pods and stuff. It's only recently that they was allowed to start contact training. So it's not like when you finish at the end of May, you go on holiday for a couple of weeks, properly relax, and then you start a hard pre-season with multiple games built into it before you start a season. They realistically only ever go about a month without having a match. You've gone 3 months with all these weird restrictions on it. I think it's probably a little bit more down to that, to be honest. Do us a favour. Like the video, please. Got a super chat there. One word for that Pogba pass. Sex. Shouldn't have been Greenwood from the start. I would have gone with Greenwood. We always knew he was going to park the bus. I think we probably expected them to be a little bit more adventurous. Certainly at home. And maybe we just got that one wrong a little bit. Should Pogba be given a new massive contract after that performance? Fucking hell, Giddy's everyone. No. He should probably get a new contract. But this is the mistake that we've made, is just giving out fat deals left, right and centre. Tottenham was so deep, it took Pogba, Gallo and Greenwood to shake things up. They were very deep. Yep. Is Shaw, Maguire or Dave more to blame for the goal, in my opinion? It's a combination of all. And it's going to be De Gea that gets the brunt of it, because it's always easy to point at the last the last man standing in that situation, but realistically, it's a little bit of all of them, isn't it? Is top four still on? Totally. Whether we won this game or lost this game or drew this game, there's still, 8 other games? Yeah. Do I think Shaw has compromising photos of Ollie? No. Will Henderson be brought back to compete for the number 1? No. Wilder was talking today, I think, and he said basically it's all but done, and thanks to United for being sound over it. United really could have played hardball, and that was that. What do I think of Martial's performance? I think he had a fucking excellent opportunity, and I wouldn't blame him either, the way I wouldn't blame Marcus. They hit the target, and that's all you can ask in that situation. A turn and a snapshot, and a fucking unbelievable save from Lloris could have won the game. A little bit anonymous, but again, very difficult situation when Tottenham sat back the way they did, and Joe nailed it in the watch along. Actually, he said this isn't fucking Leyton Orient sitting back and parking the bus. This is a Jose Mourinho Tottenham Hotspur team with some right players. So sometimes you're gonna struggle against them, aren't you? Do you think the lack of crowd is going to affect big refereeing decisions? I mean, it shouldn't, should it? I don't really understand how that would, but yeah, maybe the refs are influenced by the whole standing up a little bit, but I don't know. How many mistakes from Dave before Ollie seriously starts considering Henderson? I think it should be a consideration now. I don't know whether he'll act on it, but it should be at least the coaches should at least be making a conversation piece about it, shouldn't they? Adi, what has Shaw done to deserve to play over Brandon? Caught out way too many times. I think he probably went with experience. Also, I don't really know. I thought when Shaw has played well, and he has played well, they've mainly come in that left centre-half position rather than left-back. Jack says, thought the game was all right, but De Gea yet again losing as a game. I know Henderson needs another year. Chef, but would I have him for next season? I'm really on the fence. I can't give you an honest answer. I don't know. I don't feel strongly enough to keep De Gea, and I don't feel strongly enough that Henderson could do it, to be honest. I'm really on the fence about it. Who's finishing 4th in the Ballon d'Or behind Ighalo, Pogba and Bruno? Mason or Rashford? Who completes the midfield triumvirate? Good word. Out of Fred, Matic and Scotty McTominay. What? Oh, you mean basically we're going with Pogba and Bruno. Got you. I think Scott McTominay. How effective were the drinks breaks in killing our momentum in both halves? Yeah. What? I don't get it. I don't get the need to use them. Are they elective? Is it on the referee? Do they need to happen? I don't really understand. Hey, do us a favour. We've got over 3,000 watching. Like the video. And if you're new here, give it a subscribe. And turn that notification bell on as well, because tomorrow morning you will have the 5 Things We Learnt video coming out, which seems to be a favourite of everybody's. Where we'll go and have a look at some of the stats and give you a nice, easy list to digest. Enjoy that shit. Given the nature of the game today, where neither team got in a consistent rhythm, would I say this is just coming back stutter, and how as a manager would I address the issues and get a win against Sheffield United on Wednesday? I wouldn't expect Sheffield United to park the tank in the same way that Mourinho would. I would expect... I think there's a marathon going on upstairs. I don't know if that's audible on the mic. Either that or a fucking line dancing class. I think you've got to look at what are we trying to achieve. When you have Dan James, Tony Marshall, Marcus Rashford, they're doing fairly similar things, and that's why I like someone like Ighalo coming into that, because he just offers something different. And there was a better press when it was Mason, Marcus and Ighalo as well. I noticed that. I thought United were pretty good. We weren't great. And I think a couple of players really tired towards the end, which again, you know, it's just one of them. It's just going to happen. We might not need to change loads. We might have to cut the mistakes out, have a little bit more confidence in the final third, and that might be enough. A couple of the questions just repeating. Drinks breaks. Who's to blame for the goal? Lewis says, in 2015, we struggled to keep De Gea. Do I think that now we'd struggle to sell him based off form, wages, and the fact that most clubs have a very good keeper? Yeah, I do. And he's on a fortune, innit? Like, you could probably, I reckon, Dean Henderson could possibly be on 10% of what Dave is. That's a bit mad, innit? How was Lamella still on the pitch? Honestly, I don't want to get into the refereeing because that's bad, innit? But the fucking refereeing was shit. Like, some of the fouls that was being allowed, and then some of the ones called for United, don't get it. Is it time Ollie started giving Igalo a few big game starts? Yeah, because I think he's a great outlet for us. Could we trade De Gea for Oblak with a little cash? What's in that for Atletico, though? Why are Atletico like, oh yeah, how much is he on? Fucking no. How about that? Brian, how shit is Harry Kane? He might, I think you said it before, didn't you, Joe? Is he the worst player on the pitch, you say? Didn't do a lot, did he? Didn't Marcus look short in confidence? He did have a couple of passes that I thought was shit once inside the box, but he also did try a couple of shots, didn't he? I'm sure he tried a couple of shots. Honestly, what the fuck? Can you even hear this? If it's not fucking rain... Can you actually hear this? It sounds like it's fucking WWE training going on up there. Fucking hell. It's not fucking rain, it's maniacs. Are we being burgled? What did I think of Fred's performance? Personally, I thought he looked alright under pressure. Under pressure again was making simple mistakes like easy misplaced passes. Maybe knowing Pogba is back, put extra pressure on him to perform. I thought he had good energy, and he did things like he cut out a lot of passing lanes quite nice. It was easy to see why he made way for Pogba, though. That made a lot of sense. We've got a super chat there off Chef. He says, who does Ollie want as a 9? Erling Haaland, I think. Martial was average at hold-up, but definitely doesn't fit Ollie's style. Yeah, I've had a gut feeling all season that I don't think Martial's the guy. Are they taking a piss? Like, I actually don't know what they could be doing up there that makes that much noise. Joe, can you go up and have a word, please? Haft says, is it 2 points dropped or 1 point gained? I think it's 2 points dropped. I'm not happy with a point. I definitely think that's 2 points dropped. Do I think Pogba should have started? Well, I didn't predict him to start, so I would say no. Did we play the wrong formation? No, absolutely not. The reason that you play a back three is because you're expecting to be counter-attacking and not have a lot of the ball. That's why we played it against the likes of City and that. No, not at all. You're expecting a team that's just going to be constantly attacking you, and that really didn't happen. Was it just me or was Fred poor until his substitution? I mean, well, he wasn't poor after it. Felt like he was bullied physically and never really got into the game. I think when you compare him to Pogba, he's always going to lose out. He loses out in everything, doesn't he? He loses out in ability, he loses out in physicality, he just loses out. Yeah. Do I think Keno was angry at half-time? Well, I only saw the comments. Obviously, I didn't actually hear him saying them. He didn't look pleased, did he? Fred looked heartbroken when he came off. Do I think his United career's taken a turn here? No. He might just be disappointed with his performance first game back. I can imagine a lot of the players really put a lot of pressure on themselves to perform. Rashford didn't look match ready. Is it still recovering from the injury? Or do I think he's a little gun shy not to get injured again? From what I'm hearing from everybody, I think he's supposedly 100% ready. So I guess he was ready to go. Maybe it's just match sharpness. He's never had a break that long. Do I think we intended to play on the break in the first half? I thought we was going to have the possession, so I hope Ollie did. Surely Ollie's seen that we need to start Pogba and Bruno together now. See, not always, though. That's the thing, is that you have to tailor your team to who you're playing and what their strengths are. I thought it made a lot of sense to go with Fred over Pogba because I thought you needed a bit more extra work rate. As it got to half-time, though, that wasn't the case. United was having so much possession of the ball and not getting the ball into the final third. That was the time that it probably would have made sense to bring in Pogba. Now, when did they actually bring him on? It was like the 60th minute or something like that. So if it was too short, it was only too short by 15 minutes. What does Luke Shaw's Deliveroo history look like? Fucking same as mine, probably. Where were the pants going if Rashi scored from Pogba's pass? Oh, do you know what? If he'd have just hit it then. Mate. Come on, lads. Right, I am going to wrap it up. Make sure you've subscribed. Make sure you've hit the notification. And make sure you've given it a like. Cheers for tuning in. Hope you've all enjoyed the first game back, despite not managing to get the win. But football is back. And it's back every couple of days as well. So, let's look forward to some actual wins. And maybe I just need to get drunk. Maybe that's what I need to do. I'm far too sober, aren't I? See you in the next one. Laters.